Hey everybody, it's Jennifer with Creative Art Spark, and today I'm going to be working on a card. I'm going to use the Altenew Garden Treasure die set, and I'm going to attempt to use the watercolor brush markers by Altenew, and we're going to see what happens. So I've got a piece of watercolor paper in my stamp wheel, and I'm going to take the outline, well no, it's the next level up from the outline die. The outline stamp, and I'm going to put it on my little mat dealie. I'm going to take my Altenew eraser, and I'm going to work on curing it a little bit because I don't think I've ever used this stamp. So we're going to just run our eraser over it, and then we're going to take a baby wipe. Maybe we're going to take a baby wipe and just make sure that we get all the dust and stuff off of there. Okay, now I'm going to take my Versamark right here, my Versamark embossing ink, excuse me. It seems like words are not wanting to work today. So I'm going to stamp there. I'm going to cover that up so I don't get it all over myself. And I am going to try to get this put down. The hardest thing I have with this is getting my little lid in the right grooves. One of these days I'll be better at it. Okay, you can barely see that, so we're going to stamp it again. That's the beauty of having a tool like this. You can continue to re-ink your stamp until you get the desired effect. And then you put it back in place in your positioner and press down. And if the creative gods are smiling on you, it all ends up in the same place. Okay, we're going to do that a third time. And I totally neglected, I usually do, to wipe my watercolor paper with an anti-static pouch to keep my embossing powder from sticking in places I didn't want it to stick. I always forget to do that. So do as I tell you, don't do as I do. Swirp your anti-static powder over your paper before you start stamping. Okay, we're going to set the lid aside for the moment. We're going to take out our paper. We got a pretty good impression. We're going to set our stamping tool aside. We're going to take a scrap sheet of paper, and we're going to go ahead and fold it in half and crease it so that when it comes time to pour, we're doing a little better. I'm going to take my Wow clear embossing powder, and I'm going to shake it over my stamped image. And then I'm going to kind of do like that just to get it spread around. And I don't know if you can see that. I don't think you can see the embossing. Ooh, where'd you go? I don't think you can see the embossing powder. But we're going to put this now back in our jar. Always do this before you get out your heat gun so that you don't have embossing powder flying everywhere. Okay. I think I'm gonna emboss, and then I'll do some more stamping if so desired. I know I'm gonna do more stamping. All right, I'm gonna get my heat gun. Close your ears if you have sensitive ears. I'm gonna start on the back of my paper, and I'm gonna let my heat gun heat up. And I'm just gonna run it up on the back of the watercolor paper like that. I'm gonna let those coils in that heat gun get nice and warm. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to just make small swirling motions with my heat gun, heating up that clear embossing powder. And we're waiting to see it kind of take shape, sort of, kind of. Yeah, I can see it now. You're probably not going to be able to see it on camera. but I can see it heating up and glistening. Okay, can you see that? Where'd you go? Yeah, you can't see that. Okay, we're going to do a different thing now. We're going to get our stamp wheel back out. All right, what I just embossed is right here. So I'm going to turn this and I'm going to put it back in. And this time I'm going to remember. I'm going to take my embossing little buddy and I'm going to do my anti-static stuff. Okay. Now, we're going to take our stamp, and this time, instead of the Versamark Clear, I'm going to use some Lisa Horton Premium Dye-Based Metallic Pigment Ink Cloud 9, and it's called Silver Shine. You can get this at Scrappy Shack, my favorite store. All right, I'm going to pounce this up and down, and we're going to see how this works. I've not embossed with this, so we shall learn together. All right, I'm going to slide that in place, and I'm going to press down and lift up, and ooh, how pretty. I think I'll hit it one more time. That's really pretty and delicate. I like that. I'll put that in my memory bank for items to remember when embossing. Okay, we're going to set this back in here. And we're going to, whoops, press down. I just about had a major accident there with my watercolor waters. Okay, that's plenty good. I'm going to go ahead and wipe that off. We don't want it to dry on there. We're going to set the stamping platform aside. We're going to get out our embossing paper again. And we're still going to use the clear, because we are experimenting at the moment. Okay. Adding that embossing powder, kind of swirling it around to make sure it gets good and stuck. Tap, tap, tap. Give it a little flick like that. All right, now we take our folder and we carefully dump our powders back in. Step there and don't get in my tea. If you've never tried Breathe Right teas before, oh, they're delicious. Okay, now we're going to take our heat gun, and again, we're going to heat from the back. I usually put my heat gun on the low setting. And we're going to let it warm up. And then we're going to turn it over. And we're going to swirl it around, and we're going to wait for that powder to melt. And we're going to hopefully get a nice, shiny, delicate silver look. I can't tell. Oh yeah, I see it now. I see it. A little slow to heat up. That may be because of the pigment ink. That's pretty. Definitely tucking that in the memory banks. Now they say there is a fine line in heating your embossing powders between just right and overcooked. I never know where that line is, so I probably always cross over into the overcooked. Okay, can you see that? Well, where did you go? There. Having trouble finding the camera today. All right, we're going to do another one, just like the other one. We're going to bring that stamp wheel apparatus back in, because I like that better than the clear one. We're going to take our little tool and we're going to rub it again. We're going to take our lid and our silver ink, and we're going to ink up this same stamp. And I just got it all over the lid. I can see it. Messy Marvin, that's me. Did anybody ever play Old Maid? When I was a little girl, and I would be, if I was sick, we had 2 green chairs in our den, and my mama would sit in one green chair and I would sit in the other, and we would play Old Maid. And it's a card game for those of you that don't know, and Messy Marvin was one of the characters in the card game. And I don't remember the rules, but I think it was a matching game. But I always remember getting tickled about Messy Marvin, and there was a nurse, and I can't remember all the other characters. But we would play Old Maid till I'm sure my mama was about to scream. That was my favorite game when I was sick, when I was little. That and Old Maid. I don't think kids play cards anymore. All right, we're going to clean our lid off real quick. Get rid of all that ink. Set the lid aside. Set the wheel aside. Get out our paper. Don't get in my tea. All right. And now we're going to do more embossing. Okay. Dump this back in. Don't forget to put your lid on your embossing powders. If you're clumsy like me, if you don't put the lid on, you're going to bump into it and spill it everywhere. All right, we're going to heat the back of the paper again. And turn it over. Okay, so I have 2 silver flowers, and I like those so much better than the other one. Is that through? I need to hit that just a little more. Okay, I think that's done. I can't tell. Now, I'm going to pause y'all because I'm going to do a third one. I don't think you need to watch me emboss over and over and over again. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to tell you what I did. So I stamped my 4th one, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and repeat stamp all the other ones. And I got everything okay, including the clear one. I stamped over it with silver. But look what I did. I got this one off, and so it kind of makes you a little drunk. But we're going to see if we can watercolor it anyway. All right, let me move my little scripture book out of the way. It keeps wanting to get down in there. Now then, set my embossing thingy over there. I am terrible at the Altenew watercolor brushes. So let me tell you what I'm going to do, because when I drop water in there, or when I drop the color in there, it comes out in great big globs. So I'm going to put it on my mat, and I'm going to do it that way. But first, I'm going to wet my card, my watercolor paper. I'm just going to do that and get it ready to accept the watercolor brush. I'm just getting the paper wet, damp, not super duper wet, but kind of damp. Okay, now I want to try this. Purple wine is the color. Let's see what happens. Well, maybe I'll have some luck today. Okay, I believe I'm having a little bit of luck. All right. Look at that, it's just a blooming right along, isn't it? All right, let's take our watercolor brush and let's make that watercolor come on out. And I'm hoping that the embossing powder is going to keep it in the confines of the petals. That was the purpose for doing the embossing. Come on, let's spread out. I see some places I missed. Let's get some there and there. Okay, that's kind of pretty. And now let's add a little more color. See what happens. Drop a little more in there. Just kind of maybe define it just a little bit. Maybe. Okay, it's starting to wick out beyond the embossing just a little bit. All right, now my little stamens and things in there, they need a little bit of yellow. Okay, I like that. And let's bring some of this on out to here. Okay, there's one flower done. So let's put these up. Let's leave the yellow out. I like that yellow. Let's do a blue one, why don't we? All right. Go ahead and re-wet my brush. Re-wet my flower. Okay, let's see if we have good luck. Oops. We haven't used this one. It's liable to come out in great big globs. Squeeze. This is how I end up in trouble. Ooh. Look at that. It's coming out in big globs, but my mercy. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh. Look Look at that. What a beautiful color. Okay, put the lid back on it. Let's take this and feather it on out a little. I love it. Oh, that's so pretty. Ooh, my. Let's come in here with some yellow. Get those little stamens and pistons. I think that's what they're called, if I remember my 4th grade science. Oh, that's pretty. All right, let's come over here and let's tackle the one that I blurred. Let's see what happens with it, because we may be able to redeem it and still use it. And that would be right nice. Let's try a purple durple. That's a real pretty purple. It has been used. Okay. Come along and dab some water in there. Get it ready to accept the medium. It's moving. I don't think it's as pretty as the blue. It's not moving in the same fashion, but it's still pretty. But not as pretty as the blue. Okay, let's take our water brush. Put it where it's not going to fall over. Let's spread that out. It's getting prettier. Okay. Let's take our yellow. That wicked out everywhere, didn't it? Ugh. Not where we had intended it to go. Let's sop some of it up. Can we do that? Yep. Okay. We have a yellow leaf. Well, it was an experiment anyway to begin with, so not all that upset. Because we didn't know if it was going to work well. Okay. That yellow is still wicking out, but that's all right. That's part of watercolor. You never know exactly what's going to happen. All right, we got one more to go. And then we will let these little beauties dry, and then we'll cut them out. Okay, what color are we going to go with? I want to do a teal if I've got one. Let's put the purple durple back in there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're supposed to have 10, so I know you're going to fit. What color is this? That is, it says dusk. That's interesting. And this is green. All right, let's look at the next box. think I see a teal. What does this say? It says lagoon. Well, lagoon works for me. Let's see what we get. That's pretty. I like it. Okay, let's do some watering. Slowly, slowly. Easy, easy, grasshopper. I might should have kept my colors out so that I could go back and add. Okay. I wonder what would happen. I'm going to do some drying and then I will be back. Okay, I've done some drying and I want you to look here. I want you to notice something. On the one that we didn't think was going to be that pretty, once I die cut it, it's going to look pretty good, I think. But look what the yellow did in there with the pink to really give it some depth. I like that. That's called a very happy accident. Now the blue has got some depth to it. The teal has a little bit of depth to it. The pink, not quite so much. So I'm going to try to go back in with another pinkish color and see what I can do to maybe give that a little bit of depth. I don't know. I might be setting it up to ruin. We'll just have to see. That's an orange. It's not a pink. That's a pink. That's a reddish. Maybe we'll try the red. I just want a little bit. I just want to come in just a little bit. I'm not a watercolorist. I think I told you before, my mother is the watercolorist. And she does beautiful work. And that looked blue. All right, where's my little paper towel? I got some paper towels and we don't know what we did with them. Okay. Just come along and brush that just a little to make it flow just a smidge. There's a word, Barbie. Just a smidge. And I don't really like that. I don't like what it did. But we're going to be stuck with it, I'm sure. And that's all right. I'm going to tip this. And we're just playing. It doesn't matter what the result is. We're just playing. I'm going to build a card out of it, but I'm just playing. All right, let's take that brush. Where did it go? Let's dip it in the water. And try to fan that out a little. I should have wet the canvas, but I didn't. There. That's getting it to move. All right, I might be liking this a little more, maybe. It's got a little bit of depth anyway. All right, I'll pause you again while I dry. Okay, now we're going to get ready to die cut. And so I'm just trimming this a little bit to make it a little easier to get them in place. And we're going to see what we come up with. So let's cut this woozy stamp first, okay? So the first thing we got to do is get the die cut positioned just right, which might be a little difficult considering that we flubbed up the stamping so. But that looks like that might be fairly close to it. And I shouldn't have done it on my, got to do it down here. Okay. Now we already know that this one's not going to be good, so we're not going to be upset at missing the mark. Because we already missed the mark, so what's the difference? We're just trying to see if it's salvageable. If it's not, I'll stick it in my junk journal. I love mistakes. They're not really mistakes. They're things that I can use and play with and remind myself of things that I've done. All right, I'm taping this down because with my machine, I have a wonderful Anna Griffin machine that my dear husband got me. The die goes face up. So now we're going to turn the machine on. Oh, hold your breath, y'all. This always makes me so nervous. Okay, show and tell time. I can use that. I can so use that. All right, set it right there. Yay. Okay, next up, let's do this painful pink one. Okay. And I'm very slow at getting them situated. All right. That looks like it might be it. So we're going to add the tape here. And we're going to add tape here. Yep, that looks like it's it. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm a slow crafter, slow artist. You can speed me up if I'm taking too long. But I do hope that you enjoy my videos. If you do, please comment down below. You know, maybe make some suggestions of things that you would like to see done. Okay, here comes the next reveal. Not bad. Okay. I never get perfect cuts when I've stamped and then try to die cut, but I'd rather do this than fussy cut most of the time. Sometimes I like to fussy cut, but not real often. Okay, we're saving the teal for last. I really like the teal one, but the blue one, y'all, this blue one is scrumptious, I think. Okay, my tape's wanting to wad up. All right, let's see here. And we spin around and around and around, and there it is. Okay, that's it. That, friends, is it. Let's add another little piece of tape. Now, originally I wanted to have 3 of these. We've got 4 to work with, so that'll leave me 1 for my journal. I might even remember to put a sentiment on this one. Well, that did good. Isn't that pretty? It's the small things that make you happy, y'all. The small things. The things that make you smile are the things that are worth continuing to do. It's such a little thing, but so pretty. Pretty always makes me smile. All right, now for the teal. Please don't mess up the teal. Okay, I've got washi tape all over me. Getting a little more familiar with the dye. Okay, where's my washi? I really like that teal. Okay, let's get the head down in here. I'm sorry if you see my big fat head. Oh well. I think you'll live through it. Maybe. Okay, put that on the mat. Put the lid on the mat. My cover is really warped. I'm waiting on a FedEx delivery that has been supposed to deliver for the last, well, since Saturday. It's still not here. I reckon FedEx is going through the same problems that the U.S. mail's having. Okay, let's see what we got. Lord, I'm scared. This is my favorite one. Okay. Don't tear your paper. Whew. Got that one off. Oh yeah. Okay. It's a little off, but I like it. All right. Let's put this back in its doolally. I'm trying to be better. That's not to say that I always succeed. What did I just drop out? Oh. I don't know. I'm not going to do any leaves, I don't think. Okay. That goes away. I think that although these are definitely the more striking. Okay, I'm going to give up my teal, but it's going to go down here on the bottom, and the blue one's going to go up there because it's lighter. But we have a little bit of splashing fun to do. Do we want to do it on watercolor? I think we want to do it on watercolor. I think we do. As soon as I find my watercolor. There it is. Okay. All right. Gonna wet this down real good. Move that out of the way. Get this ready. All right. I'm going to get some sprays out. We're going to do tumbled glass, peacock feathers, maybe some cracked pistachio, and maybe some pickled raspberry. Maybe. All right, I'm moving my tea. Don't want these things in my tea. Thank you very much. I didn't get that good and shaken up, did I? Okay. There's one. We're just playing. Just playing. Oh, I like that. Okay. Now we're going to dry it off, and I'm going to pause you while I do that because we're using up a lot of time. Okay, y'all. I did a little drying, and then I hit it with some shine spray, and then I took it in the bathroom, and I hit it with hairspray so that the shine wouldn't come off on my fingers. And this is what we have. Okay. Now, I'm going to cut this down to size. I want this part of the card for sure. So we're going to come along to 5 inches. And we're going to cut that off. And then we're going to come down to 4 3/4. Or thereabouts. Because I have a 5 1/4 by 4 panel to put it on. Let's see. Let's see how I want to do this. Looks like I might not have cut it straight. All right, come back up here, Tiny Tim. This is supposed to be 5. So 5 1/2 down to 5 1/4 down to 5. This is supposed to be 5 inches. There's my 5. It was not quite straight. And this will be my 4 3/4, and I can't see where squat. There's 4 1/2. There's 3, so this would be 4 3/4. 5, 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's how it works. Okay. All right. And it may look crooked because it dried crooked. Overall, that looks pretty good. Okay. So, I'm debating popping it up or just gluing it. I think I'm just going to glue it. Hey, Miss Daphne. My dog has come to see who I'm talking to. If she starts barking, it's because she doesn't like for me to talk to anybody but her. But she may not bark. She's much better about that since my grandbabies left. I miss them, but I don't think she does. Okay, I'm going to stand up so I can get this glued on here halfway straight. It looks pretty good. Not perfect, but it'll do. Okay, I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to do that. All right, so there's my panel. Now, these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful watercolory florals, I'm going to put on there like that. And I'm going to pop them up. I've been in a popping up mood lately. For some reason, everything I've been making has been popped up. Not sure why that is, but okay. I'm shaking really bad. My inhaler, it makes me shake. What? She made a really funny sound. I don't know if y'all heard it or not. Oops, not quite. I don't like for my foam to get too close to the edge, and you can't even see what I'm doing. Good grief. Sorry about that. I'm adding little pieces of foam tape to the back of my flower. Okay, but yeah, that one shows just a little bit, so I'm going to peel it back up. I don't like for them to show. I just want the illusion of the flower floating in the air rather than any of the foam tape showing. And that's why I cut them up. So I'm always having to clean my scissors. Goo Gone will be your best friend. I love Goo Gone. You just spray it on, wipe it off, and voila. Your scissors are clean once again. Okay. Let's see. I'm hurrying. I'm sorry. I'm nervous about it taking so long because I know my videos are usually ridiculously long. I can't, when the bright lights are on, I can't see to get my glue gun cap back on, so we'll put it in its little stopper here. Hopefully that'll keep us from having any problemos. All right, I want this one going this way, and I want this one going this way. Is that what I want? Or do I want it like that? I want it like that, I believe. Okay. So we peel off all the little thingies. And we plop you down like that. We got all of you off. We're going to put you like that. Here comes our card. We're going to stand up and glue that again. But first we're going to take a very fancy bone folder. It's a plastic knife, y'all. Yeah, we get real fancy around here sometimes. Okay, there's that. Now we're going to glue the back of our silver card panel. And we're going to attempt to set it on here straight, and it is not. Come over just a little. There. Okay. And I'm going to pause you again while I hunt very quickly for a sentiment to stamp, and I will be right back. Okay, y'all, here's what I've done. I used a scrap from cutting the flowers out. I stamped and embossed hello, and I put it on sticky foam tape. I didn't figure y'all needed to see me do even more embossing, so I just took literary license and did it while y'all were waiting. And I'm going to put it right there. Nope, I'm going to put it, well, I guess I will. Okay. Let's see if we can get it a little straighter. And there's my card. Voila. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this. I've had fun, and yes, I'm slow. I'm sorry. You can speed me up on YouTube, but I can't work any faster. I make horrible mistakes when I try to go too fast. Anyway, thank you so very much for coming and visiting with me today, and hopefully you've enjoyed this. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.